Not singing, but meaning. Okay, when Jesus was on earth, he knew he had a very short time to prepare this unlikely band of men called disciples to carry out his work and to carry out the good news. Now, I can imagine that there were times that it seemed like an unmanageable task. So in thinking on that line, I want to read the light-hearted Sermon on the Mount. Remember, light-hearted Sermon on the Mount. Then Jesus took his disciples up on the mountain, and he gathered them around him, and he taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are the meek, blessed are the merciful, blessed are you who thirst for justice, blessed are you who are persecuted, blessed are you who suffer. When things begin to happen, rejoice, for your reward in heaven will be great." And Simon Peter said, "Do we have to write this down?" And Philip said, "Will this be on the test?" And John said, "Would you repeat that?" And Andrew said, "John the Baptist's disciples didn't have to learn all this stuff." And Matthew said, "Huh?" And Judah said, "What has this got to do with real life?" Then one of the Pharisees, an expert of the law, said, "I don't see any of this on your syllabus. Do you have a lesson plan? Is there a summary? Where's the student's guide? Will there be a follow-up assignment?" Then Thomas, who missed the whole sermon, came to Jesus privately and said, "Did we do anything important today?" And Jesus wept. None of that has anything to do with what I'm going to talk about tonight. Last week I challenged you. I challenged you to look and see what you hold in your hand that God wants to use for his kingdom and for his church. And I hope you thought about that a little this week. I hope you prayed about it. I hope that you found some things that you have that God wants to use in his service. Now, James 1:22 says, Be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only." Be ye doers, and not just hearers. You know, it's great to come to Sunday school and sit and learn and listen, and to worship service, to listen and learn and hear. But see, nothing works until we act on it. We have to act on what we learn in order for God to be able to use it. It's kind of like, I often have clients that come to me for advice and help. And when I'm talking with them, you know, they'll say just real often, "Well, I know that." "Well, I know that." And then I ask them, "You must not be applying it because you're here. You're here for counseling." So the difference between knowledge and wisdom is knowledge is what we know. Wisdom is making the knowledge work for us in our life. And I'm a perfect example. I know I need to lose weight. I know I want to lose weight. Now, I know all the things that I need to do in order to lose it. But you know what? Knowing it is not melting those pounds away. So it takes action on our part. Okay, our topic is saved to serve. Saved to serve. From the very beginning of creation, we were saved and created to serve. In Genesis 2:15, it says, "And the Lord took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden, to cultivate and keep it." So from the very beginning, man was to work, because God knew that the abundant life is a life of service. The abundant life is a life of service. Okay, Paul Paul says it this way in Romans 12, 1, 2, and 4, and 8. Get it where I can see it. I urge you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies a living and holy sacrifice. God doesn't want just part of us. He wants our bodies. He wants the whole thing. He wants us to present our bodies a living sacrifice, acceptable to God, which is your spiritual service of worship. Think about that. God wants our whole bodies. That is our spiritual worship to Him. And do not be conformed to this world, but transformed to the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what the will of God is, that which is good and acceptable and perfect. And in 4:8 it says, for just as we have many members of one body, and all the members do not have the same function, so we who are many are one body in Christ, and individual members one of another. So we're all members. We have different members. We have different functions in our church. And when we use what we have, it all comes together and it glorifies God. Right. And that's our purpose as a church, isn't it? Right. Is to glorify God. Amen. And so we come together, bring in our many members. Some are the hands, some are doers, some are the mouth, they're the speakers. Some are the feet. They go, they visit, but we're all members that come together, and this is what God wants. He wants us to be one body, serving Him and His purpose. That's the way we grow, and that's the way we're blessed. Okay, now Jesus said it another way. The parable of the talents. Okay. And that is found in Matthew 25:8. Okay. Now we all know this. It's kind of like I talked about Moses. We heard this from the time we were young, the parable of the talents. But I want to look at it in some different ways. It says, for it was just like a man about to go on a journey, who called his own slaves and entrusted him with his possessions. Okay, I want us to look at that. We know that the man is God, and we know that the slaves are us. It says he was going on a journey, and he entrusted his possessions to his servants. And in thinking about God being the master that did this, think about God's possessions that He entrusts to us, His servants. Think about the nature of God. God entrusts love to us, doesn't He? Mm-hmm. He entrusts service to us. Yeah. He entrusts all the things. He entrusts peace to us, and joy to us, and comfort. So the Master is going on a journey, and He entrusts all these gifts to us. But He wants us to use them, don't He? He gave, and to one, He gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1. According to his own ability. You know, one of the excuses we use when, and I think I touched on this last week, when we're asked to do something, or we're saying, well, so-and-so can do that better than me. I can't do that. Mm-hmm. I'm not capable of doing that. Mm-hmm. It says to his own ability. Not everybody can sing. Not everybody can preach. Not everybody can do everyone else's job, but it says to his own ability. God never asks us to do anything that He doesn't give us the ability to do. Amen. And the one who received the 5 talents, immediately the one who received 5 talents went and traded with them and gained 5 more. He used them to